welcome to our final Q&A of HorrorCon. Can you do a bit more? We have a hell of a guest for you. If you were here yesterday, you'll have seen me lost for words in the middle of the Q&A because he is so incredibly funny. I ended up asking the same question twice. I may end up asking it again today if I lose my way. Would you please welcome one of the great horror icons of the 70s, Mr. Neal.
Hello, Mike.
Oh, hey. If you'll all remove your clothing, we'll get some. What? Oh, I'm sorry, that's Tuesday.
Now, so,
Can you hear it?
Come over there.
Sorry.
I think it's to do with projection laptop.
well, we're on.
Yeah. I've always heard that's an interesting phrase, laptop. I just think you're going to be laptopping, which is quite great. Say something? Oh, wait, that's better. That's better. Good. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
It gives you freedom to move around if you want to move around.
I'd like to move around. No. What we learned from you guys. Oh, it's a silly walk. You're too young. Years ago, Monty Python did the silly walk. You're too young. That sounds like that thing that kills the flies. I'll be back in a minute. Go ahead.
No, I was talking to your wife yesterday after our previous Q&A, and she told me to ask you about real dead bodies used in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. The real dead bodies were mostly the actors. No. In India, years ago, when you would pass away and you dropped in the street, they would just step over you. Because to them it's the soul, it's not, the corporal body means nothing. So what happened was, the Indian people learned that they could kill this guy for making noise. Oh no. That they could do the corpses, and they could sell the corpses, and they could sell. They could sell the corpses to Americans and use them for anatomical studies. But that's not what we did. We bought real bodies, and the thing in the chair, Grandma, is a real corpse. And we thought that was great fun. So Robert Burns goes, "You mean I can get real bodies? How much are they?" And they told him, well, they're $95 a piece. He goes, "Oh, that's like 100 of them." He told me, he said, "No, I don't think so." This is a low budget movie, you have enough for one. One? Hell's bells, okay, give me one. So then he got, not whole bodies, but they sold them just body parts. Because, well, for $2 you can get a hand. $4 a flange. So he bought body parts and put together some of the furniture that's in the house. But it was so strange when they told us this, because we didn't know when we first got on the set, and we're leaning on stuff, and we're and don't do that, that's a real body. Okay, no, I won't do that. But it was a wonderful set to work on, because here, chicken feathers wafting about your feet, and real body parts, and chickens in little tiny cages. Oh, there's a great story about the chicken. Did I tell you about that? No? There's the scene where the cage, and they have this big chicken stuffed in this little tiny bird cage. No, it's funny. What happened was, Robert Burns knew nothing about chickens. He just thought it would be great fun to stick this giant chicken in this little tiny bird cage. Okay, but chickens are like, and so when he'd stuff the giant chicken in the bird cage, the next morning the chicken would be dead because he was like a heart attack. So the crew member would have to go early in the morning and go get another chicken to keep Toby from finding out that we're killing all these chickens. And Toby never noticed that, this one has brown feathers, this one has blue feathers. No, it's just sticking chicken in there. And they're all dying. And Robert says, well, now we get chickens. Chickens are everywhere.
Now, how many of you were here yesterday? So a few, you're definitely here. Is there anybody here that's never seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Okay, so we're not going to give away any spoilers. He might be giving away some spoilers, I'm not sure.
This is my illegitimate son from my third father. He's just made bail, and we're glad to have him here. Can I get a Uber?
So we're familiar with the film, we're familiar with the story, and we're familiar with some of the actors. When you're in the midst of all this madness, and you're trying to deliver a performance and a viable film, how much of the chickens in the cage, feathers on the floor, real corpses, body parts, rotting animals, how much of that got in the way of you actually trying to deliver the job that you were paid to do?
Well, all of that environment, it didn't get in the way. When you got there, when you arrived on the set, it was like, yeah, okay, we're doing great. This is be a lot of. And then you're in the room, and you're walking through the room, and these feathers. You can't walk. No matter how slow you walk through the room, the feathers still came up. And so what happened was, it took you about 8 seconds to get into character, because it was so wonderful an environment, and it wasn't like a true Hollywood set where they just have a little piece over here, and then they have like 19 crew members and the Teamsters over here who are drinking and waiting for their truck to move 4 feet. The whole house was done. Every room, every wall, every crevice. Robert had created, so no matter where they pointed the camera, there was craziness. There was bone furniture, there were chickens, and so when you were in that environment, it was so easy to drop yourself into whatever character you were doing. Everybody, it worked for everybody, not just me. Because it made it so much easier. Because if you've ever been on a set where it's just, spray paint and, marks a lot on the wall, and then they dub a lot of stuff in CGI, and it's just not the same.
So basically there's no real furniture, it just lines on the floor, indications of where things might
on
be.
most sets, and you're staring back, like you're looking at 19 crew members, you're like, God, this is really a horrible movie. Who do I have to kiss to get off this set? It's like that. But in that environment, even the crew members were like, holy doo-doo.
But if you're isolated from the outside world and you're within this kind of this box, if you like, are you? Is it almost like a bubble, and you're entirely separated from the reality of out there, and you're only dealing with Toby and Kim's script?
Yeah, because when we would leave and go home for the day, we'd be like walking to our car, and by the time you got to your car, you still were not out of character because, and I said, boy, I hope I don't kill anybody on the way home. But it was like you had minutes and minutes and minutes to get out of character, because you just done this intense thing, and you have like temporary PTSD, which I may still have. I don't know.
You were saying yesterday that you based a great deal of your characterization on a relative and all the tics and everything, and that Toby hadn't really given you directions to how to deliver. So did you ever think that you were going too far, or was too far just always on the horizon?
You obviously don't know me well. That never crossed my mind to go too far. Let me show you my scar. Stop that, you're scaring the children and the adults. No, what happened was I was in theater. I was a serious lesbian. I was a serious lesbian, and I was doing Shakespeare and Moliere, wonderful things, ennui. You know. And so when there was a note on the door of the drama department, we had sloshed back from, we'd had a liquid lunch because we didn't have any money, so we just bought a giant thing of beer and split it all. And we hadn't learned our lines for the acting class because we were drinking, and it was college. And so we thought, well, we'll just go to the acting class and we'll just make up the lines. And nobody will know, except the acting teacher. And so there's this note on the door, class hadn't started yet, and it said they're auditioning for a film. And we said, they're auditioning for a film? Why did they come here? And they said, well, because you're actors. I said, well, yes, but we're serious actors. We're stage actors. We don't want to be in a cockamamie film. And they said, well, just go and try out. And I said, well, let's go in and wind this guy up. You know, we had no idea who it was. He had not done anything really to that point, just a small film called Eggshells. So we didn't know who. So we'll get this guy, get rid of him so we can go in and practice our acting for the acting test. So I thought, he goes, he has a little Clint Eastwood cigar and he goes, hi. Because I tend to mimic people. And he goes, can you be crazy? Something says to me. And my 4 friends go to the floor. Boy, have you got the right guy! They're yelling at Toby. And so he says, well, just do something crazy. I said, okay. So I do my paranoid schizophrenic nephew who really does all that stuff. You know, and so I thought, no, this will wind him up and we'll get rid of him. And Toby's like, thank you. So I thought, well, we got rid of him, and he runs out the door. 2 days later, here they come with this contract. And they go, and Kim Hinkle brings the contract over, the co-screenwriter for the film, and says, Toby said he had to have me for the film or else. And I thought, well, I'll do the cockamamie film. Nobody will ever see it. It'll show at a drive-in in Round Rock, Texas, and that'll be the end of that. And here we are. Many years later, many moons have passed. Many moons have passed.
His reaction to you and his reaction to your performance on the set, he never once said, that's too much, you're going too far.
No.
He just let you completely go.
All we ever heard was, Jesus Christ. And so we'd hear him, you could hear, you know, because people, you know, they talk like you can't hear them, and they're like 9 feet away. Because they're on the other side of the camera, they tend to think you can't hear them. You know, Toby would utter things to the producer like, he's not well. I think we really got lucky with this. It was like that. So, but we knew that we were being effective because we were grossing. There's a scene where I'm on the ground, and they've done this wonderful, you can see it in this wonderful giant weeping sore on my head. Well, what it is a giant raisin that they've cut with a scalpel in half so it'll be totally flat. They put it on with spirit gum, and then they put a woman's blush makeup around it, and it looks so real. I found myself looking in the mirror going, Jesus Christ, what have I done? Oh, yeah. Well, I get so into the scene and I'm acting crazy, and I go, ugh, and I start pulling on it, and the spirit gum is coming with it, and it looks exactly like flesh, and I look at it, now remember, it's a giant raisin, and I go, ugh. Toby Hooper. Oh my! You can't do that. I said, what do you mean I can't do that? I'm crazy. He goes, oh yeah. He goes, well, we can't put that in the film. It's too much. And the cast and crew all turn to Toby and go, it's what? Here's this idiot with a chicken in a cage. You know, we got bodies in a chair. We got furniture made out of body parts, and eating a raisin is too much? Get the hell out of here. Why do you stop?
I'm going to open it up to questions from the audience.
Does anyone have any questions for Ed?
Hi Ed.
Not yet, but we're working.
Just got a quick question about Texas. So the character Franklin, it's written that he stayed in character for the entire film, Paul Partain, and he was quite irritating. Just wanted to get your original take on that.
That I stayed in character the entire film?
Paul Partain, who played Franklin.
Oh, Paul Partain.
Yeah.
What's
Franklin, Sally.
What did Paul do?
Sally. The guy in the wheelchair.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the question? Did he stay in character?
Did he?
Oh, Paul Partain started in character the whole time. Yeah, he was a real. Oh, no, he was a horrible man. We hated him. Gunnar and I were flipping a coin to see which one of us was going to whack him. No, it was horrible. He was this grand diva, and he never made a film or even been in a stage play. They found him wandering on the street or something. And so we thought, who's this diva? So what happened was he started stealing bits that other actors were doing. Like he stole my raspberry seed, he took that. I said, hey, cut that out. But he was still in character going, yeah. Now, cut to 2 years later, after the film had come out, and he'd married a wonderful woman. He turns into the greatest guy ever, really. And so I said, Paul, you know we were going to whack him. I know, I'm so sorry. He was this great guy from then on. I said, whoever that woman is gets a statue. But he stayed in character the whole time. Even when they would yell, cut, he would go, you gotta go to the bathroom? Yeah.
I've got the dodgy microphone. Hi, Ed.
I've got the lovely dodgy microphone.
I've read somewhere that the climactic dinner scene that it was worse than your experience in Vietnam filming that. Is that true?
Well, that's the short version of the 20. He's asking about the 24-something hour dinner scene that we had to shoot continuously with no stops because they had to have the equipment back because it's a low-budget movie, and if we don't get all the camera equipment back on the desk at exactly at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, then they owe them another $7,500, and they had about $40 to their name, so we had to get it back. So we had to shoot all night. Now, in real movies, that doesn't happen, because you have 3 union guys that come and go, they're not coming, they're leaving at 5 o'clock, shut up. Just like that, just you get to leave at 5 every day, bye! Not in low-budget movie making. In low-budget movie making, you're lucky if they let you go home at all. And they didn't. And they said, we have to keep shooting, so we went, okay. We didn't know any better. We said, okay, because we were stage actors. We didn't know that you could say, no. So we just kept shooting. But because they had to shoot for 24 hours straight, the dinner scene, which is at midnight, light outside of the windows is coming and going as it's wont to do. So they taped the windows shut with thick black material and taped the doors shut so that no light could come into the room so we could shoot all night. It was midnight every second. Well, that's fine, except there was no friggin' air in there because they taped all the doors shut. Can't turn the air conditioner on because the microphone will pick it up. So it's like, it's 180 degrees in the room. The chicken, who's now dead on the table, that Robert Burns has nailed his feet to a board, is decomposing at an accelerated rate. And we're like, oh my God. And so we're doing all this, the decomposing fumes are coming up to our nose, which is right on the table. And we're like this, from the fumes. Toby on the other side of the camera to the producer.
Wow, they're doing great. They're really on it tonight. They're swell. We have lucked out and got some of the best actors I've ever seen.
My elbow is like trying to get the chicken moved over, and they keep dashing in between. Cut that out. There's continuity. It's got to be. And I'm going, get that shit out of here. And they can't move it. They can't take it off the set now because it's been, it's ID'd in the last 8 takes, so we got to leave it. But it was horrible. But yes, my often repeated phrase is, I moved troops in Vietnam through triple canopy jungle easier than making that cockamamie move. Just to put that in perspective. Scary clowns.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi Ed. Have you ever been a hitchhiker in the real world or picked up a hitchhiker, and what have the reactions been if such a scenario has happened?
Have I ever picked one up?
Have you ever been a hitchhiker in the real world?
Oh yes. Oh yes. I was seeing a woman one time who lived in Durant, Oklahoma, and this all went into. I learned many things about hitchhiking because I was living in Austin, Texas, going to college, and I would have to travel on the weekends to go see her all the way to Durant, Oklahoma, which is way. So I would have to hitchhike up because I had no car, and many strange people picked me up, and and I would often ride only a quarter of a mile. Like whenever they would slow down, I would jump out. But there's a great story about the hitchhiking because I'm doing one of the first shows I ever did. These 2 DPS, Department of Public Safety, the policemen that are on the rural highways. They, in full regalia, come up to the table. We'd like to thank you, sir. What I do? After this film came out, crime on the rural Texas highways dropped 13%. You couldn't buy a ride. If you had a $20 bill, they would, no, they're driving the ditch around you. No. Because they'd all seen the movie.
Hello. First off, have you seen the sequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Have I seen the sequel? I've often asked, have I seen the sequel? Yes, I've seen the sequel. Yes.
Okay.
I've also flushed a great deal of bowel movement through my time. They're very similar, that bowel movements, the other film. Yeah. Thanks for asking.
My question is, Bill Moseley plays your character's brother in the sequel, and I've always felt like he was channeling your performance a lot. Do you agree with that?
He did, and Bill is one of the grandest guys ever. And I call him my brother from another mother, because he's a grand guy. And we've been trying to work together for years. We've had 3 projects that were going to happen, but then the money didn't come through, which is quite common in filmmaking. Because people always say, oh, I've got this money, and then they don't. But now we're writing a script that we're pretty sure we're going to get to do. But yeah, he was. I'm supposed to have been run over by the truck, and he's now me, all kind of weirded out because he's been run over by a truck. But I just thought he did a great job. But if anyone was going to do me, I wanted to be a great actor like him.
We have about 5 minutes left. Any more final questions? I will take them. Anybody? Yes.
Did you notice with any of the other actors in the film, were they having a difficulty separating their characters from themselves, like that downtime that you were talking about needing to have after everything wraps up shooting for the day? Was it harder on anyone in specific?
Yeah, Paul, it was the hardest because he just wouldn't let go. I mean, he'd be driving off going, yeah, and he's going, but yeah, the worst that it was for Marilyn, because Marilyn was having 2.5 gallons of stage blood poured on her every 30 minutes. And the main ingredient in stage blood is Cairo syrup, which makes it run very nicely. Real blood would just run down. But Cairo syrup mixed with food coloring runs just wonderfully well when you heat it up to a certain, it's just right and it's cinematic. Well, That's fine, except 2.5 gallons of Cairo syrup in rural Texas in August where it's 108. We have dachshund-sized flies. You know, you can feel the heat from their wings trying to get to the Cairo syrup on Marilyn. So it was brutal for her. All of the bruises that you see at the end of the film are not makeup, they're real bruises. Because they were always knocking her about. So she was in distress. So it was very difficult for her to wind down at the end of the day. It was like, whoa. But she was under duress. For example, in the scene where Gunnar is chasing her through the forest, and they're doing a long shot, where she's running through the forest, and he's chasing her. Well, she's throwing her wonderful blonde mane of hair about, and it catches in the branches of a low tree. And she's stuck. Now we're all like way back, nowhere near them, doing a long shot. And Gunnar, the mask he's running, as only Gunnar could, and the mask is ridden up a bit on his face. He doesn't see her entangled, and he's supposed to stay back, 20, 15 yards from her. Now he's right up on her, and we hear Toby going,
Oh shit. He's going to kill her. Get one of the fleet-footed crew people and tackle Gunnar.
So this roadie goes, I'll go! And he's squaring off. So now, this is on camera, but it's not in the movie, of course, but you've got this maniac chasing this blonde woman, and he's almost about to decapitate her. And you've got this sprinting 19-year-old roadie guy tackling Gunnar to keep him from killing her or removing one of her arms. But a lot of it's in the film. You can see her, which they left, the footage of just before her death was fine. But yeah, that poor baby. Wow. She should have got an Oscar for Survivor.
We need to wrap up, unfortunately. I'll ask one final question. Were you happy when the film ended, or could you have happily gone on playing the character that you were playing?
We weren't only not happy when the film ended, we threw a friggin' 2-day block party! we were like, we have to go now. Half of us are dead. No, we were so glad to be out of that, and go back to our little stage plays. What's like by yonder window shine? 'Tis Juliet. What's your name? It was like that. We were so glad to get out of there because you weren't making any money. They'd given us little pieces of the film to entice us. And should the film make a fortune, you'll be set for life. We won't tell you at this point that it's a mafia distribution deal and you'll have to get paid, but just think, you own part of the film. Oh, thank you. Please, sir, may I have another? Please, sir.
This guy has been my best interview experience ever.